अनोखी अदा से हमारे मुकाबिल वो देखो सभी मुस्तफा। अनोखी अदा से हमारे मुकाबिल वो देखो सभी मुस्तफा रहे हैं। अनोखी अदा से हमारे मुकाबिल वो देखो सभी मुस्तफा रहे हैं। अनोखी अदा से हमारे मुकाबिल वो देखो सभी मुस्तफा रहे हैं। हमारी हकीकत तो कुछ भी नहीं है, वो ईसा के भी पेशवा। हमारी हकीकत तो कुछ भी नहीं है, वो ईसा के भी पेशवा रहे। ये वो हस्तियां हैं।
Karbala, another day in Kerbala. So yesterday we had a very successful majlis in Shardab of Imam Hazrat Abbas. आज का ये प्रोग्राम मैं कर रहा हूँ. We're gonna go to, I have a ring उसका मेरा मैंने नीलम लिया था, उसका फरोज़ा गिर गया था, तो मैं वो दुकान करबला में ढूंढूंगा, मिल गया तो फरोज़ा डाल दूंगा. उसके बाद we are doing इतराफ़ ज़ियारत in Kerbala with our kafla. So that's gonna happen at evening time, and throughout the day if I find anything interesting I'll record and share it with you guys. So now I'm just heading to find the shop that sold me the ring and get that repaired. See you guys soon.
साथ ले चलो जब मुझे आपके कातिल है मारा बाबा, जब मुझे आपके कातिल है मारा बाबा, है तमाचे पे सकीना ने, तमाचे पे सकीना ने पुकारा बाबा, जब मुझे आपके कातिल है मारा बाबा, जब मुझे आपके कातिल है मारा बाबा। बाबा मैं शिमर से कहती थी, बाबा मैं शिमर से कहती थी, तुम मेरे पास न आना, दो आलम में सबसे बेहतर है मेरा पाक घराना। मैं छोटी फातिमा ज़हरा हूँ, मैं छोटी फातिमा ज़हरा हूँ, ना मुझको हाथ लगाना, पर फिर भी बाबा फिर भी उस जालिम ने किया मुझ पे, किया मुझ पे बाबा, किया मुझ पे तरस जरा हाय मुझे बालों से पकड़ के हैं तमाचे मारे, हाय मुझे बालों से पकड़ के हैं तमाचे मारे। मैंने सरशेम से मांगा जो तुम्हारा बाबा, मुझे याद के कातिल है हमारा बाबा।
We are standing right next to the Alqami. The Alqami is a part of the Furat. The Euphrates is a large river. When we are going tomorrow to Baghdad and Samarra, we will pass over a bridge that goes over the Euphrates. It's a large river. And one branch of the Euphrates is the Alqami, which comes through Kerbala and through this direction. And it was this river in particular that was blocked from Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And this was the plan by Yazid and by Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad to block the river from Imam al-Hussein and not allow Imam al-Hussein to camp next to the river. This is why Imam al-Hussein, when he first arrived to Karbala, Al-Hur was ordered to keep Imam al-Hussein from camping close to the river, so that eventually they will keep them thirsty and Imam al-Hussein will not be able to stay long and will not be able to be comfortable.
भरने के लिए आए थे। हज़रत अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम ने मशकीज़े में पानी भरा और जैसे ही चुल्लू में पानी लिया तो क्या देखा, जनाब सकीना का चेहरा नज़र आया। ये वही सकीना है कि जो कूफा और शाम में बेमकना चादर है। जनाब सकीना अपने बाबा से क्या बयान करती हैं, जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा, बेसकीना ने हर तमाचे, बेसकीना ने पुकारा बाबा, जब मुझे आपके कातिल ने है मारा बाबा। जनाब सकीना क्या बयान करती है, मुझे बालों से पकड़ कर है तमाचे मारे, अरे मुझे बालों से पकड़ कर है तमाचे मारे, अरे मैंने सरशेर से मांगा जो तुम्हारा बाबा।
Grief is on and off. Sometimes we remember Imam al-Hussein, sometimes we forget. But when someone, it's his own grandfather, who was butchered in such a brutal way, this man does not forget, and Imam al-Mahdi does not forget what happened to his grandfather Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. This is why in Ziyarat al-Nahiya, the Ziyarah of Imam al-Mahdi of Karbala, one of the first statements, public statements he will make is Ya Ahl al-Alam, Inna Jaddi al-Hussein qataluhu atshana. O people of the universe, my grandfather Hussein was slaughtered thirsty near the banks of the Euphrates. These are the first words that the Imam of our time will utter. And this is why we believe that the true justice will be prevailed and taken with the rise of the Imam of our time. This is why when you look at the dome of Aba Abdullah, you see there's a red flag over the dome of Imam al-Hussein. What does this red flag symbolize? The Arabs, they had a tradition that if someone has been killed and no one has sought true revenge for this person, they will place a red flag over this person's house. That means this person was killed mazloom. That means this person was oppressed and the real justice has not been sought for this man.
जब इमाम आएंगे, जख्म है अभी ताजा मक्का और मदीना के शाम कूफा करबला हम भुला नहीं सकते अरे अज सकीफताई गम गैर से नहीं पहुँचे अरे जितने
الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Respected brothers and sisters, this is the Maqam of Ali al-Akbar, the eldest son of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. This is where Ali al-Akbar fell off of his horse, and this is where Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam came to carry the body of Ali al-Akbar, a body that was filled with wounds. The body of Ali al-Akbar, that when Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, he saw the body of his beloved son, he threw himself out off of the horse, and then he began to cry over the body of his beloved son, and he says, Ali ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. Oh Ali, life is not worth living after you. When Ali al-Akbar fell, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam was unable to carry the body of his son Ali al-Akbar. All of the shuhada, Imam al-Hussein, he would carry them and he would bring them back to the camp, but this time they saw Abu Abdullah is laying next to his son Ali al-Akbar, and he is unable to carry him. Brought him back to the tent, the women and the children. They saw Ali al-Akbar in that state. They all started calling out, Wa Aliya ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. Life is not worth living after you, oh Ali.
हाँ सरदारों, ये वो मकाम है जहाँ जनाब अली अकबर की बरसी लगी थी। आप लोग बारहा सुनते हैं कि जनाब अली अकबर की बरसी लगी थी। अज़ादारों, एक मर्तबा सन 61 हिजरी का तसव्वुर कीजिए, रोजे आशूर है और एक जवान बेटा अपने बाबा से कहता है, बाबा मुझे मरने की इजाजत दे दे, बाबा मुझे मरने की इजाजत दे दे। जानते हैं इमाम हुसैन ने क्या कहा? कहा बेटा मेरी तरफ से इजाजत है, वाजिब से इमाम कभी नहीं रोक सकते, लेकिन कहा बेटा अपनी माँ से इजाजत ले लो और अपनी फुफियों से इजाजत ले लो। जनाब ज़ैनब ने मना नहीं किया, कहा बेटा मेरी तरफ से इजाजत है, अपनी माँ से इजाजत ले लो। अब अज़ीज़ान मोहतरम, एक सवाल करूंगा कि अगर कोई जवान बेटा घर से बाहर वापस चला जाए तो माँ कितनी मर्तबा दरवाजे पर जाती है, ना जाने मेरा जवान कहाँ रह गया, ना जाने मेरा बेटा कहाँ रह गया। और अगर कोई जवान बेटा ये कहे कि अम्मा मैं मरने जाना चाहता हूँ, तो क्या गुजरेगी माँ के दिल पर।
باسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Brothers and sisters, this is the Maqam of Ali Asghar, the youngest of the Shuhada on the day of Ashura. The martyrs on the day of Ashura, there was the over 100-year-old Habib and Muslim, and there was the 6-month-old Ali al-Asghar, the youngest son of Imam al-Hussein, who was butchered on the day of Ashura in the land of Kerbala. Imam al-Hussein offered a great sacrifice, and the final sacrifice before he sacrifices himself was his young infant son Ali al-Asghar. On the day of Ashura, after all of the companions, all of Bani Hashim, they were all killed. Imam al-Hussein وقف على خيامه مودعا. He stood over the tent to say his final farewell. Zainab alayha salam, she comes to Abu Abdullah and she tells him, Ya Hussein, before you go, see if you can bring some water for this infant son of yours, because he's going to die regardless. Don't you see that he is dying out of hunger? He's dying out of thirst. His mother does not have milk anymore to provide for him. So Imam al-Hussein, he grabbed his son Ali Asghar and he hid him beneath his cloak from the heatness of the sun, from the strength of the sun. And he goes out walking towards the enemies. They didn't know what Imam al-Hussein was doing. Usually, إن كان لي ذنب فما ذنب هذا الرضيع. Oh people, if you see that I have done wrong, then what wrong has this infant child done? أما ترونه يتلظى عطشا. Don't you see that he is dying out of thirst? He tells them, you take him and you give him water. The army of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was divided. Some said give him water, some said don't give him water, some said let us take him and we will give him water. As they were all divided, Umar ibn Sa'd, he tells Harmalah ibn Kahil, he tells him, Ya Harmalah, اقطع نزاع القوم. Oh Harmalah, I don't want my army to be divided over a 6-month-old baby. He tells him, who should I shoot, the father or the son? He tells him, don't you see the shining whiteness of the neck of the baby? He said, Harmala, he said, I took the arrow, I pointed it towards the neck of the young child in the hands of his father, and I shot the arrow, and it landed in the neck of Ali Asghar. Then the arrow, it went in the neck and it severed the head from the body, because this arrow, it was not made for children. This arrow was made for adults. So once it struck Ali Asghar, it separated the head from the body. Imam al-Hussein, suddenly he sees his son hold on to him. He looks at him and he sees that his hand, he sees that his neck is filled with blood. Imam al-Hussein places his hands beneath the neck of Ali al-Asghar and he throws the blood in the sky, and then he says, Ilahi hawala ma nazala bi annahu bi'ayn Allah. Oh Allah, what has made this musibah, what has made this catastrophe easy upon me is that, oh Allah, you are the one who is watching. Imam al-Hussein, he hid the young child beneath his cloak. How can he go back and give him to his mother? How can he give a dead child to his mother? Imam al-Hussein, he takes a step forward, a step back. He does not know how to go back to the tent. He goes back, his daughter comes to him. She tells him, oh father, you have given Ali al-Asghar water, we also want water. Imam al-Hussein takes out the child and he tells his daughter, oh my dear daughter, they did not give him a drop of water. Instead they killed him. Imam al-Hussein, he buries Ali al-Asghar because he knew that the hooves of the horses, his body would not bear the hooves of the horses. So he dug a small grave behind the tent and he buried his son Ali al-Asghar. And then he heard a caller from the sky saying, Ya Hussein, da'hu fa'inna lahu murdi'an fil jannah. Oh Hussein, leave him because they will be quenched, his thirst will be quenched in paradise.
बाबा मुझे याद के कातिल है मारा बाबा हाय मेरी गुरबात चचा जान का सर रोता है मेरी गुरबात चचा जान का सर रोता है हाय उनकी गुरबात करूं कैसे गवारा बाबा.
The Maqam of Imam Hussein is over there. All the way over there, that new thing that they're building, that is the Maqam of Imam Hussein. And Imam Hussein was killed here. There was a ditch that Imam Hussein fell in. So the last time that the horse of Imam al-Hussein, Dhul Janah, came back to the tent, came back to the camp without the rider, Zainab alayhi salam knew that Imam al-Hussein had fallen in the land of Karbala. So she came running to this hill. She came running to this hill and she stood on this hill and she saw before her eyes her brother Imam al-Hussein laying on the ground in a pool of his own blood. During that moment, Imam al-Hussein was speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those were the moments Imam al-Hussein was doing his final munajat to his Lord. Ilahi taraktu al-khalqa tarran fi hawaka wa aytamtu al-'iyala likay araka. Oh Allah, I have left everything for you. I have orphaned my children for you. And Zainab was watching Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. She sees her brother in that state and she begins to cry. She begins to mourn what happens to her brother Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. After what happened, what she saw before her eyes is too heartbreaking for me to say. I am unable to say it at this moment, but the masa'ib that fell upon Zainab were so great. This great daughter of Ali, Zainab, the daughter of Fatima, that no one would see her shadow. Now Zainab is in the middle of the battlefield having to defend her own brother Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Zainab is taken as a prisoner after Imam al-Hussein was killed on the 10th of Muharram in the evening. Zainab goes out to the bodies, the scattered bodies that were laying on the ground in the land of Kerbala. She goes through all of the bodies, then she sees one body that is totally mutilated. She sits next to that body. Her daughter, she tells her, Amma, oh my dear aunt, whose body is this? I cannot recognize this body. She tells her, oh my dear niece, this is the body of your father Hussein. This is the body of Abu Abdullah. Even Sukaina could not recognize the body of Imam al-Hussein. Then here Zainab, she began to weep over the body of Imam al-Hussein. She calls out, Wa Jaddah, Wa Muhammadah. Ya Rasulullah, do you see what they have done to your beloved Hussein? This is your grandson that you would cry if he trips. You would cry if he is crying. Now Hussein is laying on the ground in a pool of his own blood. Wa Jaddah wa Muhammadah. صلت عليك مليك السماء هذا حسينك بالعراء. Oh grandfather Rasulullah, this is your son Hussein. Don't you see what they have done to him? And then she would face towards Najaf. She would face towards Amir al-Mu'mineen and she would cry out to her father Amir al-Mu'mineen, who was the supporter of the oppressed. She tells him,
है सदा भाई हुसैन चलते ना के से गिराया तुझे को जलती रेत पर चलते ना के से गिराया खुद को जलती रेत पर घुटनियों के पल में तेरी लाश तक आई हुसैन बस मैं घबरा थी खंजर तुझ पे चलता देख कर बस मैं घबरा थी खंजर तुझ पे चलता देख कर